All right, back here at the Deloach Center, Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head women's basketball coach Mike Mincey. Mike, wasn't pretty at times, but your Eagles get the job done with a 63-44 win over the Coker Cobras. Defensively, certainly things stick out today, including a span from the second period to the third period where Coker made 2 shots out of 24. What'd your team do to disrupt them?
You know, obviously that's not something that we typically do. I mean, we do it okay, but I wouldn't say that we do it really well. And if you were to tell somebody that whether it was us or them or a combination of both, that we held someone to 2 buckets in that span, and I think that's what I told them in a timeout at one point in time, that, look, we've held them to 6 points in a quarter and a half. But we're just not making them, we're not making them pay on the offensive end. It was just a terrible offensive performance by us today. I mean, it started out with a missed layup. I know we had 4 just bunnies in the first half. Same thing at Mars Hill, and when you're not getting those points and you're not getting that separation, I just think it makes it hard to make shots.
How much did the fun from last night, your team had some bus problems, didn't get into the hotel till 1 a.m., did that play a role at all today?
I mean, who knows? Obviously when the bus broke down and you find yourself getting in at 1 in the morning, and it can throw you off a little bit, but I thought our players really handled it well. Had some good bonding time on the bus for the 2 hours we were sitting there, and I wasn't going to look at that as an excuse. Obviously, now that we've won, you can sit back and say that it just kind of threw us off a little bit, and maybe that's why we had the miserable offensive performance we had today. But, on the defensive end, we did a pretty good job.
Braylon Weichel and Kayla Marisites did their thing. They combined to go 14 of 20 from the field and score a combined 40 points. While the rest of the team struggled, those 2 carried the load.
Yep.
How proud are you of their efforts?
Well, obviously, they're our 2 leading scorers for a reason, and they're able to get their shots and obviously shoot a high percentage, and they were carrying us there for a while. And in that third quarter, when we finally got separation, Bunch, who had taken out for an ill-advised turnover early in the half, came back in the game. We've had that happen twice now, once with Kelsey, once with Bunch, where I put them on the bench and then they came in and responded in a big way. I think she hit 3 threes in that span. Quay hadn't necessarily had a great game. She hit a 3 in that span, and that's when we finally got away and got a comfortable enough margin to where we weren't stressed as much as we were, obviously, early in the third period.
Turn your attention back to the home floor. You take on Lenore Ryan and Catawba next week. What's it take to wash the taste a little bit from the offensive struggles and build on what you did defensively with the Bears and Indians coming in next week?
I think this one is just more of a sigh of relief kind of a thing. It just was not our day on the offensive end. I mean, I even got to the point where I told them I didn't want them going in transition and try to make stuff happen because it just seemed like nothing was going right. So we just kind of started pulling out and running sets, and it may have been the same shots we'd have gotten in transition anyway, but just because we were running sets, feet were set, I think that's why we eventually made those threes and got that separation. We got Tank with a nice feed to Harley there off a double team and got an easy bucket. I think Bird got an easy transition bucket. It's just little things like that. Once we kind of got going offensively, it was fine. Now we're going back. We know we got LR coming in. They're one of those middle pack teams that are very dangerous. And I don't think we're going to have any carryover, really. I think it was just a trip to Mars Hill, a trip to Coker, broken down bus and all that kind of stuff. Hey, we're happy to get a 19-point victory on the road. And I think this is probably the largest margin of defeat they've had in the Deloach Center this year. So we can certainly something we can carry away here, from a positive we can carry away going into LR.
Mike, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Adam.
That is Carson-Newman head women's basketball coach Mike Mincey.